I'd like to call to order the Angola Board of Zoning Appeals Monday, April 24th, 2023 meeting. Can I have the roll call, please?
Brant Moore,
Here.
Howard McKeever,
Here.
Bill Rowe,
Here.
Mike Sutter,
Here.
Susan Ralston.
Being that we have 4 members, we do have a quorum. Everyone has a copy of the March 27th, 2023 minutes. Do I have any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve as presented. So moved. Have a second? Second. All in favor signify by saying aye. 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 All opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved as presented. A little bit about our how we run our meetings here tonight. Please make sure your cell phones are turned off. We'll start each case with the planner giving the case, reading the staff report. We will then ask the petitioner to present the facts relating to the case. Board members will direct questions to the petitioner. We'll then read any correspondence into the minutes and ask for any remonstrators or anyone would like to speak on the case to do that. We will allow then the petitioner a rebuttal time. We'll then close the public part of the hearing where the board will discuss the case among themselves with no comments from the petitioner or anyone else. We'll then read the findings of fact and then have a motion and announce the vote. So our first case is 2765 West Maumee Street, Bill's Towing, Development Standard Variance. And there's actually 2, one for maximum lot coverage and one for the general parking standards. And we'll just hear comments about both of those at the same time, and then we'll go through the findings. So staff report.
This project is 2765 West Maumee Street. It's a parking lot expansion. They are requesting 2 development standards variances. Little Shooter LLC is the applicant. They are requesting relief from 18.92, which is maximum lot coverage, and 18.176, general parking standards and materials. They're zone C2, medium to large, general commercial. It's an automobile-oriented business. Tonight, April 24th, is the hearing date. Legal notices appeared in the Herald on April 14th. 6 property owners were sent certificate of mailings on April 6th. The property is not located in a floodplain. Bill's Towing, new location is 2765 West Maumee. It was platted in September 2021. The property includes lot 5 and it's 4.26 acres. Block A completely encompasses the property. Additionally, there is a legal drain situated on the east side of the development that's shown there in the hatching. So a little bit about the overall development. So variances in March 2021, the development received development standards variances to exceed the maximum fence height, fence material, and additionally to allow stone and gravel parking service within the storage area at the back. In reviewing the meeting minutes, the applicant, Ken Wilson, stated landscape screening would be in place for the fence. That has not appeared to materialize. Mr. Wilson also noted that all drainage would go to the planned drainage area. The development plan was in April 2021. The board approved a 20,000 square foot facility with associated storage yard, parking, landscaping, lighting, and drainage. Post-construction, in September 2022, staff was made aware that the construction parking area that was not included on the original plans, its construction of millings, would not be removed. Staff required the county surveyor to grant approval for the parking area because it was located in the legal drain and on the developer's property. Additionally, staff required an easement between the property owners, which all was completed. The current conditions in the winter of 2022, staff noticed the millings brought in on site and spread on the west end of the parking lot. For the front parking area. Maybe this is down here, yeah. When contacting Mr. McClanahan, he stated that area would just be a turnaround area for vehicles. Staff determined the type of improvement would require development plan and development standards variances, which is how we got here tonight. The applicant is proposing a 9,910 square foot parking area directly west of the current customer, what we're calling the front parking lot. This area would be for parking or turning around larger vehicles and trailers. No landscape or no lighting is being proposed for the project. Here's a few pictures of the site. So this is looking east. Some of the millings has been spread, but that's just, I think, like 1 or 2 loads that came in. That's not what the finish would look like when they were done. It's just looking, I guess, more south. Sorry, the cursor doesn't move. Again, goodness. So this is kind of the area, the landscaping they put in for the front yard landscaping that was required as part of the development plan. Then back here, you can start to see the edge. So for the maximum lot coverage, we don't have as-built on the project, so it was going back to the plans, trying to figure out exactly what happened. The best I can figure out is they're at a 70.3% lot coverage today. This will push them just over the 75%, which that is the maximum lot coverage. For parking materials, gravel, stone, rock, dirt, sand is not permitted parking surfaces, and they're wanting to do asphalt millings. Those are darker in nature, as you saw in the pictures. There are some plan review comments. I believe they responded late last week. I haven't even got to look at them yet. Such as there's some drainage comments that would need to be addressed. We have not got anything in way of public input as a result of the public notices. So in conclusion, staff does have some reservations regarding the project. The property is highly visible along a gateway into the community. Staff is disappointed to see the large trailers and semis that's parked in that milling parking lot already. Mr. McClanahan promised that it would only be on temporary basis, but it really hasn't been the case in most instances. Additionally, staff has a hard time finding the difficulty or the hardship for this proposal. If staff does, or if the board does want to approve the request, staff would recommend the condition that in between the milling area that they're proposing and the deciduous trees that they plant, 5 evergreen trees as well. That is all staff has.
So back on the first or second page, you said that the landscape screening that we approved for the last time never has materialized up there?
From what I can understand, looking at like the minutes and the plans, there was supposed to be landscaping directly along this fence. And that just was never installed. So in essence, the condition staff is proposing is basically that just out past this milling area.
And that would take place of what wasn't done before then, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's trying to find a way to buffer the parking.
Anybody else have any questions for Stan? If not, I'm sorry.
Were there reasons why the landscaping is not done?
All I can say, it was in the time, obviously I did not take that case through Plan Commission and BZA. It's probably something that got missed in the transition. I'm not sure even if the plans, the final plans had them on there. So I'm not sure exactly why, other than looking at, the deciduous trees they did install for the existing parking lot were appropriate along with the shrubs and everything. But this area for the fence is not something I had caught.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, who's gonna speak tonight on this? Yeah, and you speak tonight, please come to the podium, give your name and address.
I'm Bill McClanahan. I'm the owner of Bill's Towing. We'll start off, everything that we've done on this development plan, we've finished and completed in a timely fashion. In the original design, we were to put the trees and the shrubs out along the road. We were supposed to put the landscape netting across the fence, which was approved. And that is all we were supposed to put across there. No trees, no shrubs. When we started with Vivian on this project. And Vivian told me that I told her, I said, someday I might like to have a parking lot out there in front of that fence. But I said, right now, with our budget the way it is, and I informed Mrs. Barkley the same thing, we are over budget as it was when we got done. We spent $3 million out here on this project. We've done everything in our power to make it look nice, keep it looking nice. We don't need to mow clear to the road on the roadway right away, but we do. We made an agreement with the company that owns the property to the east of us that we would maintain all the grass and everything. And I paid them to use that parking lot that we paid to put in to start with. That was our construction site. And Mr. Wilson said, we don't need to take it out if you don't feel it needs to come out. And it really makes it nice for us to pull in there with big trucks and stuff when we're bringing them off the road and back them in. I brought this is not millings, by the way. This is nothing but slag from the steel mill is all it is. We put millings out behind, which we got a variance to do that when we did that. I went to Las Vegas in December to go to the rodeo with my secretary and her husband and my wife. And I get a call from Miss Barkley that her exact quote was, "What are you doing here? You're killing me." And I said, "What are you talking about, guy?" And she says, "We were putting a parking lot in out front." It was not our intention. I brought in enough millings that we planned on going halfway down the fence to use for a turnaround right now. It'd be great to have hard surface there. There's already a drain out front there anyway. The main reason I decided to do this and put those millings on the end of that is a temporary situation to get by with what, until we can afford to put the blacktop in. After we built the construction of the building and got everything in order, we ended up hiring 4 semi-mechanics to work in the west end of our building, which brought a lot more truck traffic to us, which has been really good for business. We have went from 28 employees to 38 employees in less than a year. The business continues to grow. This is not to be used, and my guys, I raised Cain again today because somebody backed a truck in out there, and I said, that is not the only thing we really use in that. It's supposed to be used for the employees' overflow parking lot, or if somebody brings a truck and trailer in during the day. It's not supposed to be left in overnight. You got 38 employees and half of those are truck drivers. And if any of you know truck drivers, they listen to what they want to and hear what they want to. I don't know what the answer is.
Well, that was going to be my first question is, what exactly are you using it for? Is it to park?
It's not for anything overnight. If we have a wrecked truck, if we have a broke down truck, anything like that, it goes around behind the fence. Everything as I agreed to in the beginning,
Right.
that no salvage, no damage, nothing will be parked out front.
Yes, I remember the original case. That was the big thing is that you didn't want stuff out front that you could see when people coming in.
I still don't. No, I don't want a junkyard like we got down the road when you get off the exit ramp and you see it. That's not me. I've done my very best to keep this nice. I did not tell him to spread these millings all the way to the end of that fence. But after my conversation, I was half afraid to touch it with a bobcat or a payloader because I want to bring it back down halfway down that fence. I don't want to park stuff all the way to the other end of that. My intentions are to only be halfway so we can turn. We get so many people that come in with boat trailers, cargo trailers, camper trailers that have got broken axles. They don't know where to go when they come in the parking lot. They pull in there. I got pictures of the city of Angola's fire trucks, ambulances. We got a customer that won't come back to my shop because he backed his motorhome in there, and when we got done servicing it, we backed it back in there again, waiting for him to come and get it at the end of the day, and it rained that day. Well, he had to walk through the mud to get into his motorhome, and he had mud on his tires. That was kind of the last time that I said, we got to put something out there because we can't stop them. You can put signs out there, they'll drive right between them. I could put barricades across there, but that'd look really trashy. So all I was gonna do was put this slag down, halfway down that fence. And my intentions are, if I get approval of this, I'm gonna bring it back to halfway down that fence. I don't need that much parking lot, but we've grown so much and our employee parking lot's completely full. And the girls all park out front on the asphalt just to the east of where this slag is at. My intentions, and the rollers set there because they rolled the yard that day, by the way. That wasn't used on the flag or nothing, so. But my intentions are to bring that down, we'll level it off. I even bought a harrow to level it off with. We'll roll it and keep it looking good, just like we do the rest of the property. You drive any of the other properties all the way into town, I don't think you're only gonna find one or two that's any comparison to what we got or taking care of any better. Let's step back a little bit. When I was up at the rented building up on top of the hill from Duke Imports, I called the city before I did anything. I have called on all of this, everything except for the slag. Jenny and I had talked about that standing in that parking lot when we were talking about the initial on the east side. And she said, I'm surprised you didn't put something down here on this end. And that's when I told her, I can't afford to put blacktop in right now. I mean, we went from 2.5 million to 3 million, a little over 3 million in this project, which was, that 3 million was pushing our budget on the top. But we're getting through it. The AIC has worked with me on this and we're getting through it just fine. But I can't afford to go out, and nor do I really want to. I think we're adequate once we get everything settled in, but we haven't been in this building a year yet. So we've had a lot of growing pains. We've had not knowing what direction, not knowing we were going to have additional employees, I was scared to death, sleepless nights, even doing this project. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't get any tax abatements. I got nothing. We had offers from Fremont, we had offers from Ashley, but I picked to come to Angola because I really like the city of Angola. If I look back a year ago, or 2 years ago, when I started this project here, I'm not sure that I would have. I have went through a lot of these meetings. I've went through drainage meetings where they called us into the county, and when Mr. Wilson and I left that county commissioners meeting, we got an apology because the complaint that was filed against the drainage out there had nothing to do with us. And the commissioners apologized to us in that public meeting. And as I say, I've done everything that the city's asked of me. I've down to the trees, and when I told Jennifer that we wasn't going to put them in until it was either September, October of last year to put the trees and all that in. We'd already had them contracted, but the contractor says if we put them in before that, they're going to die. You're not going to get them. Something about you got to plant trees with a month that has an R in it. I don't know about that. That's what I was always told. So that's what we did. We went with, and again, when she told me about the east lot, we immediately got on it. I've not tried to hide from anything. I've not tried to do anything illegal or immoral. And if any of you know me, I'm big in the community. I like to support our community, whether it's fire department, police department, several of the groups in Angola, we help support a lot. But
So staff is asking, for some more plants there out. Are you okay with that being one of the stipulations?
not 3-inch pine trees. I'll tell you what, if I plant and I've talked to my arborist, If I put 3-inch pine trees now in the middle of those trees that are already there, the pine trees will overtake the trees that are there before they're mature. So they said they didn't believe that was a good idea. I use a guy out of Bronson, Michigan that does landscaping. It's not like I went out and dug them and put them in 3-inch trees. We're talking another $3,000 a piece, put those trees in there.
Jennifer, can you explain to us again what you're asking for there on that?
So, you go to the one picture that might be helpful.
Now, remember, like I said, if we do, we're backing that up halfway down that fence. We're not gonna stay clear to the west end.
Like it is right now.
So you're
Not
not
like it is right
going,
now. Pull that picture back up there, please, the next one down.
so your site plan showed it to here, but you'll be,
I'm
About
actually
half
gonna go
that?
back about halfway, yeah.
okay,
And that gives me enough room to turn a truck and trailer around there or a fire truck or anything else and get back out of there.
okay.
So the
The
way
way it sets right now, we're doing this and it's dried that up in there. We don't have the water standing. There is a drain in, it would be the lower right-hand corner of that lot right there now
Yeah.
already, which was put in when it was built.
So that would change the lot coverage and probably make them in compliance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my intentions, but I wasn't getting in there. After our discussion, I didn't want to do nothing to make her any madder at me, okay? I'm trying to do what's right here. I'm not trying to do something that I shouldn't be, but
So what staff is putting here, this is as far out as it would come approximately.
probably be out I'm probably this end, we'd bring it out just a little bit more. Not a
Towards
lot,
the
not
road.
clear out there, no.
Yeah. So
Probably
between
halfway across that,
the
Jenny.
deciduous trees and this area,
Yeah.
so this like
Right,
lawn,
down in there somewhere, yeah.
having like evergreen, so arborvitaes, not basically deciduous trees, evenly spaced along there.
I
That's
mean,
what
we could
staff
set back some pine trees as far as the drive, which would only go down to maybe the second or third tree there.
Right. You mean do them this way?
No, you're not gonna see that anyway. because
Right.
they're coming over the hill.
You mean just go a few
Yeah.
this way? Gotcha. So
And
what
I'm not
proposing,
appalled
just
to
not the whole way.
Put some pine trees, but they said do not put them between the trees that we've already got there because they'll take them over
Oh, no.
before the.
Yeah, so staff is for this area, so putting them like right here.
And I don't have
Yes,
any
you're
problem
correct.
with putting them in there, yeah.
That would not go well.
But I don't want to go with 3 inches. Like I said, they're very expensive. That'd be another 15,000. I already spent $14,000 to put those trees in there. Be flash because they had to be larger. And they had to go buy them from another tree farm.
So if he only goes halfway, he wouldn't need the trees, correct? That's called for on here. He would just need some of the evergreens.
Let me look on here.
While you're doing that, Mike, do you have any questions?
Not yet.
Okay. Bill?
So you're saying their trucks aren't gonna be sitting exposed there?
My intentions are, we run a West Virginia run. And if the other lot on the east side is full, we get a lot of RVs from people that we back in there, dump trucks, trailers, which we keep neat and orderly over on the other side. We have trucks that we back in there with our trailers like at 6 o'clock at night and they're out of there by 3 in the morning. You know, they're usually gone. So we back them in there loaded so we don't have to have the drivers come in at that time of morning and rehook it. But no, there would be nothing, that's not our intention. That is strictly gonna be for turnaround and overflow. It's not a permanent parking area. Somebody comes in with a truck, we had a guy come in with a feed truck today and he backed in there. As soon as he come in and turned his keys in, we rode it up, we moved the feed truck around behind the fence so it wasn't left sitting out there. I don't want, and I've tried to get this through to my guys' heads, I don't want stuff parked up.
Okay.
In fact, we just got some new write-up slips today that we're gonna start doing that with our employees.
Right.
My board suggested that, my board of directors, so that's something we're gonna be doing with employees. They need to, it's accountability, you know, I have to do what I say I'm gonna do for you folks. I mean, I'm not I'm not trying to get out of anything. I'm trying to do it and do it right. I want to be a good steward of the community. That's all there is to it. We all have to work together. And this is a beautiful corridor coming into the city of Angola. It needs to stay that way.
Right, and that's,
But if I'm playing, I want to say one more thing about that. If I'm playing that game, I think that the other property owners that are out that direction should be playing that game too. When you drive up this northbound off ramp and you look over the hill and you see a junkyard, I'm sorry. I'm not okay with that. That's saying it. I feel that I'm getting, nobody else is doing it, but that doesn't make it right either. I'm doing what I say I'm gonna do.
questions?
He answered my question as far as stuff being parked there. And yeah, he's gonna have them moved. That's what my question is going to be.
In that particular spot, we will try our best. I'll give you my word at that. To not leave stuff sitting out there overnight. I like my place to look pretty. I got $3 million. I got one derogatory comment about my facility out there. I'd say that's pretty good. I mean, I feel good about what I'm doing. And face it, guys, I'm trying to get ready to retire. It's my 47 years of doing this, but these kids turn back here, so.
Do you want to amend that then? As far as the,
Yeah, I can get about a half length. Hold on, my computer is going very slow.
we can go on and then come back.
That's fine. I can tell you what the length is.
Anybody else have any other questions, Greg? Anything else?
How many trees are you
Well,
talking
that's what
about?
she's gonna,
That's what you're
she's
gonna
figuring
look
out.
Honestly, what did I propose?
She had 5.
5. So like if they did 3,
And
if
they
it's
would be
half,
coming in from the back end there, come this way.
it would be basically like this grass.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah. Just plant like 3 right there. So like arborvitae's at 3 dBH, you're talking like $100 a tree at Lowe's.
With a 3-inch trunk,
Yeah. Roughly.
and we'll pick him up.
From what I can buy.
I'm easy.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, right now, right now.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else in the room like to speak on the case? Hearing none, then, do you have any correspondence or received?
We did not receive anything.
So, hearing none, we'll close the public part of the hearing. So you're gonna change that 5 evergreens to 3?
If that's what, if he's gonna go half the length, yeah. I don't see why he would need to keep going.
If he does go half the length, the lot coverage part is somewhat moot, but
Yeah.
we can still vote on that part as long as it's only half. And then the other part is the material. It's similar to what's already there. It's not like it's something totally different, so.
Everything that's there is what's gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's all strictly the slag. It's not.
Right. Anybody else have any comments? If not, we'll go through the findings of fact.
Brett, why fight with this? Do you mind reading this? Sorry.
Okay, the way that we type these up, well, if you see there, the approval was will not, and denial will be will. So you want me to read both of them? The numbers are-
When they answer the first question, you'll know which one.
All right, number 1, the approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or general welfare to the community.
Will not.
Staff proposes the finding that because use of the previous materials such as millings or slag allows for water to pass through, allowing the additional area to be constructed to prevent 95% of parking lot area from bonding. The millings will not be laid in a manner to restrict current drainage infrastructure in the parking lot that flows to the county drain.
Everybody agree? Agree.
Number two, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner.
Will not.
Staff proposes the finding that because coverage only surpasses the permitted lot coverage by less than 1% and is constructed with material previously approved by this board. Additionally, the extra space will be used more as a turnaround for vehicles on the west end of the main parking lot or short-term parking. Each adjacent use will continue as it exists regardless of the small expansion of the parking lot.
Everyone agree? Agree.
Number three, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in use of the property.
Will.
Staff proposes the finding that the nature of the business performed on this property calls for continuous movement of small to large vehicles throughout the entire property, inclining the knees to maximize the lot coverage to its full potential.
Everyone agree? Agree. Do I have a motion to approve the Bill's towing case, both the development standards for the parking lot and for the surface with the condition that in the area north of the milling parking area 3 instead of 5, evenly spaced installed at 3-inch DBH between existing deciduous trees and proposed milling area within 2 months of the Angola Plan Commission development approval.
I don't have to repeat all that.
You don't.
I will read that motion.
Have a second.
I will second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's been approved. She's got.
Sure. Yeah, we'll see. Give it a minute or two if you don't mind, and then we will proceed. I can grab the mouse and go.
Sorry.
Nothing, I stole your mouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
Next case is 721 Pine Run, request relief, variance standard for fence and wall standards.
All right, moving on, as stated, the property's at 721 Pine Run. They are trying to, or wanting to construct a front yard fence. They're seeking development standard variance. Requesting relief from section 18.160.170. That's C1. It's going to be referencing the fence and wall standards, front yard fence height. The property is currently zoned R4 multifamily residential. The hearing date is today's date of April 24th, 2023. Legal notices appeared in the Herald Republican on April 14th. 31 property owners within 300 feet were sent notification certificate and mailings on April 10th. Applicable code is Title 18 of the Unified Development Ordinance and Indiana Code Board of Zoning Appeals 36-7-4-900 series. The property is not located within a floodplain. Staff is recommending conditional approval. The applicant wishes to install a 6-foot tall privacy fence on her property in the Pine Run subdivision. 721 Pine Run is mid-block of a row of through lot, meaning a lot fronting on two parallel or approximately parallel streets or abutting two streets which do not intersect at the boundaries of the lot. If you look to the left, figure 1 is a lot through, meaning the front yard on one street there. You see my cursor, straight in the back, and you'll see how that reflects with Pine Run and Todd Drive on the aerial of her residence outlined in white. Since this property is the through lot, the lot includes 2 front yards and 2 side yards. The yard along Todd Drive and Pine Run Drive are considered front yards. Below are the standards for fences in front and side yards. As you will look at the image there, it's going to be kind of hard to see. I highlighted some portions. Location, front yard must be decorative in nature and 3 feet or less in height. And again, at the bottom, it references that again, that front yards shall not exceed 3 feet in height for fence. Side and rear yards, they shall not exceed 6 feet in height. The site plan, as stated, the applicant requests to construct a 6-foot tall off-white vinyl fence in her facade facing Todd Drive to the side property lines and to the front property line along Todd Drive. The applicant stated the wish is for privacy and containment of a dog. So it'll be on the left of this image is where the proposed location is at. Next, we'll move on. This is the facade facing their front yard facing Pine Run. And additionally, more images. This is from the northern part of Todd Drive looking south. Her property will be behind this large tree where my cursor. Moving on, this is the northwest corner of her property. Todd Drive. This is from the southwest corner of the property looking northeast of her property. The yellow line is the property line on the west end of the front yard, if that makes sense, along that line. And lastly, from south of her residence looking straight north along Todd, just to see the look of the neighborhood. Contextual zoning and land use, the property as stated is zoned R4. The surrounding uses to the north is multifamily residential, agricultural and medium family residential. The Waits Woods or Miller addition. To the south, multifamily and medium family residential. To the east, you have a medium family residential and agricultural that's out in the ETJ. And to the west, you have the adjacent neighbors of multifamily R4 residential, and then the Carlin Park Elementary School. The comprehensive plan speaks to principle 2 on how to inspire community image, improve community character, to assure the positive aesthetics exist throughout the city of Angola. We did receive some public input. We received a phone call, and the party that made the phone call advised to show up at this evening's meeting. And secondly, we received an email, as read there on April 14th, we received an email from residents at 721 Todd Drive from Robert and Brandy Garman. And their email stated that as residents of 721 Todd Drive, Angola, we are opposed to the request to build a 6-foot tall privacy fence within the yard of 721 Pine Run, Angola. The property's backyard butts up to the street across from our yard, our front yard, and therefore such a fence would be a
Hideous.
hideous, there we go, monstrosity of an obstruction in the middle of our block. This would not add but surely deduct to the aesthetics and value of our neighborhood's property. We do appreciate wanting a fence to protect one's pets and property. As a suggestion, a 4-foot picket fence would be more appealing alternative. And then secondly, as mentioned, a party phoned in. Charlotte Martin from 801 Pine Run advised that she would be in attendance to speak this evening.
All right,
And
go ahead.
in conclusion, the staff is supportive of a fence, however, not a fence that will serve as an enclosure. Staff agrees a through lot is not commonly seen in our community, however, does not constitute a hardship. A 4-foot tall decorative fence is a compromise that will serve the property owner's main purpose for desiring a fence while not disrupting neighborhood character. With condition of approval that a 4-foot decorative fence be constructed in the front yard along Todd Drive.
All right, who's going to speak? Okay.
My name's Michelle Roselle, 721 Pine Run. I'm requesting a tall fence in my backyard for privacy reasons and for the protection of my dog. Anyone who's ever had a large breed dog knows they can surely jump a 4-foot fence. I don't want my dog in the street getting harmed. And also for my neighbors on one side, they have small children and he's a young dog. He's a barking dog. I'd like them to be able to go out in their backyard and have the kids play and not have my dog constantly watching what they're doing and barking. I guess that's about it.
So, I mean, one of the things that we have to look at is that we have to look at the neighborhood and the character of the neighborhood. Can you speak to the fact of how you think a 6-foot fence like that wouldn't change the character of the community, of the neighborhood there?
It definitely would change the character of it. It's going to be a vinyl fence. It'll be well maintained. Definitely, I would say it would change the character of the neighborhood.
Is there any questions?
We're talking about a solid faced fence,
Mhm.
a wall.
I guess you could call it a wall.
Thank you.
It would in no way be a hideous monstrosity, but
But a wall is a wall.
true.
Thank you.
So at 4 foot, the dog can get over the 4 foot?
The dog can jump a 4-foot fence, yes.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
personally, I know I have a son who has a large dog. And he does it all with the wire underground, not with a fence.
And absolutely, that can be done. I do not want to have my dog constantly shocked if he's going back and forth. That also does not keep other animals from going into my yard. It would keep him from going out, but I don't want him continuously shocked if he's going through that fence.
Well, his dog has been shocked for quite a while and doesn't show any ill effects.
And that's his choice in that matter. I choose not to do that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Anyone here tonight like to speak on the case?
My name is Charlotte Martin, AKA Dean. I live next door to this Michelle. I am strongly opposing a fence because when I go out on my sunroom to read or be safe from mosquitoes and other insects or just to enjoy the day, I will be looking at a fence. As you people probably know, we're on a city lot and there's not much space between my house and her house. She could do an underground fence because once the dog learns that he's going to get shocked, he will not cross the boundary. Also, our neighborhood does not have roaming dogs. So that is not an option for her to be worried about. As far as the kids next door, they're very active and they play out there, but I don't think the dog would, after a while, would not be barking at them. Maybe he would be barking to get attention. I don't know, but I am strongly opposed to her doing this. I did contact a company called Dog Watch because someone had said that a lab has a very thick neck and they don't even feel the shock. I called this company called Dog Watch and they said that is absolutely not true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have lived there for 28 years and I did not need a fence next door.
Anyone else like to speak? Ms. Roselle, we can give you some time if you'd like to say anything else. Okay.
Like to say something. I'm Alan Edwards, Allen County Fence out of Fort Wayne. Anyways, Ms. Roselle's certainly not doing this to upset anybody, and clearly it has upset some people. Another thing, it calls for her property line is 24 foot, 9 inches from the center of the road. Actually, it's 24 foot, 9. We would actually have to back that up towards her house another 3 foot, just because of utilities. So it's getting her further away from the street. But it's, once again, it's a maintenance-free fence and, it's not going to chip, peel, crack, anything like that, so. That's all I got.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close the public part of the hearing. Yeah, I can't get past the fact, how it would change that area. I would not want to be across the street and walk out the front door and have to see that. I feel for people who have a lot like this, or even when we deal with corner lots where we have 2 front yards. But I just can't see it. Any other?
I'm totally opposed to it. It's obtrusive. It's annoying. And you can serve the purpose better with the wiring.
Anything, Phil?
I have a large dog. I have an underground fence, so we didn't have to do a fence. It's worked fine for my dog.
Howard, anything, son?
No, you guys have mentioned everything.
All right, well, we'll do the finding of facts, please.
Okay, moving on to the finding of fact. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Well,
Staff proposes to find that because an enclosed 6-foot tall fence will obstruct views of adjacent properties. Additionally, this would be out of character for the neighborhood. Number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in this variance will or will not be affected in a substantial adverse manner. Staff proposes to find that because a 6-foot privacy fence in a front yard includes no aesthetic or improvements to curb appeal, providing an increase to neighbor property values.
Agree?
Number three, the strict application of the terms of this ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will not?
Staff proposes to find that because owning and containing a dog is not unique to this property, additionally, a 6-foot privacy fence will alter the neighborhood character.
All agree? Okay, so, all motions are made in the positive, just so you remember that as we do this. So do I have a motion for 721 Pine Run? Development standards for the fence and wall standards? You'll just make the motion and then you vote yes or no.
I move that we approve 721 Pine Run as presented.
Got a second?
I'm not confused.
Correct, I am correct, right? You make them all in the positive and then.
Yes, although it can die of a second as well.
Well, was there no second? Second. So all in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign? Aye.
Aye.
So the request is denied. All right. Anything else? One of you. Next month?
We will have a meeting next month.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I have a second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
You don't like fences?